Hey, everybody. Welcome to Shine a Light, our Sunday podcast. You know, it's been a minute. We started this in 2020 and took a little break after the panorama. And we're back, though, and we're excited. We're getting ready for Black History Month. This year's theme in 2024 is African Americans in the arts. And as it pertains to social justice. And today we have a special guest, none other than Eric Island. And by the way, my name is Shalanda Sims, and I'm going to be your host today. We're going to talk to Eric, who is an actor, a comedian, and, just like this all around, you name it, that's what he does. So we're going to get to know him today. We're shining a light on him. And we'll talk a little bit more about Black History Month and what else we have going on. So, none other than Eric Island. Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I am Eric Island, the deacon of sneaking, the pastor of laughter. So, we here in the building, live and direct, and we're going to do what we do.
Yeah. So, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your journey as an artist. I don't know what you want to start with. Acting, comedy.
I'll start with acting.
Okay.
I got off into acting probably about 10 years ago. Just late in life, actually. I was an athlete and started off in music as a kid, hip-hop artist. Had a group down south with me and a couple of my cousins, and we were fortunate enough to get some airplay and kind of go on that route. But I didn't want to be a 40-year-old rapper. So, even though I love music and the arts.
Wait, hold on. We can't just go past that. Did you say you had a group? Why am I just now hearing this?
Well,
What was the name of your group?
It was Run ELI, but the whole premise of the group was, we were Southern hip hop artists coming from a street vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I grew past that.
Okay.
And so I wanted to leave that persona behind and kind of transition into elevated source of life.
Okay. I mean, that's probably a good thing. We wouldn't want Run DMC, suing you or anything like that.
That part. But I mean, we had some success, and I've always loved music. Just come from a musical background. It's just something that's always been in my spirit, and something that I've always loved as a kid in church growing up. I always wish I could sing, and so I always marveled and felt good about the people who would just come into a room and people would even start shouting or something even before they opened their mouth and said their first lyrics or anything. And I was like, man, that's just talent and favor. But I wasn't that guy. But I could put songs together, and I wrote poetry and stuff, so I could, rhyme pretty well. But I wasn't as confident as I am now. I was kind of a shy kid to that degree when it came to the arts. I would do things for my close circle of friends, but I never really wanted to put things out to the masses because I didn't know how people would receive it. So when I finally did and I got the reception that was surprising and the positive feedback, I wanted to do it more. And so that's how the group came about, and we got to do a few things. But like I said, we matured past that, and fast forward, got into acting about 10 years ago. I actually had moved back here to Portland and came to see your show, Who I Am, Celebrating Me. And my sister was participating at that time. And so at that point, it kind of reminded us as kids when we used to do skits at church, whether it be for the holidays or any special program that was coming up. And I told her that next year that I was going to do your play with her. And unfortunately, she got a new job and she couldn't participate. But I had already told you that I would participate. And so I showed up, and got offered the role of Martin Luther King. And just felt like, okay, I know who Martin Luther King is. I know what he means to our community. And I just wanted to embody that and really do him well or do him justice. And so I kind of took on that character and made him I ain't even gonna say character, took on that person or persona, and just really wanted to showcase who Martin Luther King was.
Yes, and Eric is being modest because he got the script and the role of MLK and came back. Was it the next rehearsal? Came back the next rehearsal and killed it, and everybody's mouth was just like, "What?" We had chills. It was crazy. So, yeah, you did that.
I always try to tell people, especially when it comes to the arts and acting, a lot of times people want to, you want to study your craft. You want to be able to go to school and get that information and learn how to perfect what it is that you're doing. But I also believe that we all have gifts and talents. And, if you got a gift and a talent, you don't need an education for it. You just got to have confidence that you can do it. And so I just kind of believed that I could do it. And so that's really where I started in this journey, was with World Stage Theater and that role in particular. And we just kind of made it work and keep working. And
And
10
keep
years later,
reworking
yeah,
and
keep
reworking it. Right. Because
always.
as an artist, your work is never complete. There's
Correct.
always something that you can do better. And although you may not start out, studying or going to school, it's like, but when you do put some studying mixed with your talent and your gifts, it just makes it all the more better.
True.
So fast forward even past that, once you got, your feet wet and you got bit by the bug because you did.
True.
What happened afterwards?
At that point, I took a couple years really just working with World Stage, really trying to home in on what it was to be a professional actor, what it looked like to be on stage, what it looked like to audition. And then I took the big leap and said, okay, I want to try this some other theaters and see, do I measure up? And I was fortunate enough to get another gig. Hands Up was the next adventure that I had just outside of World Stage Theater. Had a great chance to meet some other strong actors in the business, Latevin Alexander. I can't even think of some of the names now that when I go back. It's been so long. But that really just jump-started me into the point of where I realized, like, hey, this is something I can do, something I love to do. And when you're around people who are strong artists, we come from a generation that are competitors, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? So we want to
Right.
compete. We want to be at our best when someone else is there pushing us and challenging us. So that was my mantra going into it, that if I'm going to do it, I'm going to try to be the best I can be at it. And then, whatever opportunities are afforded me from there, I can run with it and be cool with it, win, lose, or draw. So Hands Up was a great opportunity. I sucked majorly, you know what I'm saying, to the point where, I learned a lot from that experience, and it helped me to grow. And so, I'm just saying that to say to the kids and anybody who may be watching, even your first endeavors, may not always go the way you want them to go, but if you stick with it, learn from your mistakes, you can grow and continue to, do the things that you love to do. So.
Right, because being an artist again is about evolving.
Correct.
It's about evolving. It's about perfecting your craft so that you're ever learning. Even if you can teach it, you're ever learning because there's always something to improve upon.
Correct.
So you've left World Stage Theater. Well, you didn't leave World Stage Theater, but you went on to do Hands Up, and then after Hands Up, you felt a little more confident.
Yeah.
To start auditioning for some things.
Yeah.
Because, right, you learned some things from World Stage Theater, then you learned some things from Hands Up. You went on to audition for some shows, right?
I did.
Locally.
I did. Here in
Got
Portland.
cast a few times.
They have a big regional auditions called PATAs. I wasn't familiar with it at the time, but it was really a citywide audition for any actors or actresses who are interested in, participating in live theater around the city in different regions. And so I went to PATAs, had a great audition, and my email started opening up, and people was like, "Who's this guy?" And I got an opportunity to work at Bag and Baggage in
Mm-hmm.
Hillsboro. Did some work out in Lake Oswego.
Yeah.
Most notably, this last couple of years, working with Portland Playhouse and some other theaters around town. So
Right.
all those opportunities for me were classes that I took. I got to work with some amazing people you've seen on TV and Broadway, some different stuff that they're doing. And for me, coming from where I come from, I consider that a big blessing and achievement. Considering I didn't have any formal training coming in, and
Right.
that's where I'm at now. Really, just still trying to perfect and still building and growing as we speak. Comedy kind of came in about 5 years
I was
ago.
going to ask you about that. I was like, but acting is not the only thing that, that you do, or even that acting has given you a gateway into some other things. Let's talk about comedy.
So yeah, 2019, I had got an opportunity. Well, first and foremost, people need to know that I come from a comedic family. I have my mom is the only girl out of 8 kids, so I have 7 uncles, and my mom is the only girl. So all of them grew up off of Dolomite and Red Fox and all that.
Mm-hmm.
All of them think they're comedians. So when we would get home during family reunions or just hanging out as family, we were always playing the dozens. People singing. So you kind of have to have that tough skin in my family if you want to hang out with us, because somebody's gonna be snapping on you or that type of thing. So we kind of grew up that way. Naturally in school, I was that guy too who, would be in the cafeteria
Was you doing
clowning.
mama jokes?
Yeah, I was doing mama jokes. You know what I'm saying? You have to be careful because everybody can't take a mama
Right.
joke. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's
So
like fighting words.
I was pretty fast. I ran
Okay.
track, so you know what I'm saying, I could run away from a whooping. You know what I'm saying, real quick. But that was one of the things, was like, we had to be straight in our studies. My mom and dad didn't play about our education,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to have a lot of fun. So, people would consider it class clowning, but I would get my grades and all that good stuff, but I could tell a good joke or I could rip on somebody. I've always had mad love for comics who could get on stage and bring people into their world, and never really thought it was something that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
But fast forward into 2019, I had an opportunity. A friend of mine's was doing a fundraiser, and somebody dropped out, and it's like, you always been pretty funny. I want you to get up and just entertain the crowd. And I did that, ironically, for a kids show, and I was pretty tame.
Okay.
And
Okay.
but I was very green. But I got a few laughs, and just that opportunity of being on stage was like, okay, let me see if I can morph this into something that could be beneficial to me.
Mm-hmm.
2020 came, and the panorama hit, as everybody say, and we were all stuck in the house, and I was trying to find different ways that I could still be an artist and entertain without the theaters being open, without any live theater going on. And so we started doing Zoom comedy shows. And yeah, as crazy as that sounds, because there's no feedback. You don't know
Right.
if people are even laughing at your jokes or
How
not.
did this work?
So we got a bunch of comics who would be out here and about, whether it be Portland or actually in different cities. We had one, I would say, professional comic who had been doing it for a while, and he would just go live, and he would plug us, set up a Zoom, and each of us would have 10, 15 minutes to just do our stuff. And he would plug in people from all over the country, and through that I started getting chats and people kind of responding to my comedy and my way of thinking. And once things opened back up, I said, okay, let's take it to the stage and see what type of feedback I get. And that's been very fruitful for me, in between doing live theater. So it gives me an outlet. It gives me
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to kind of put my own thoughts and my own spin on different situations. A lot of times, if you're an actor or actress, you fall in love with scripts that you have, But then there's always those times where it's like, man, if I would have wrote this, I would have said it this way, or I would have, brought this point out. And
Right.
so when you're doing comedy and you have an opportunity to do that, that was just the yin and the
It's your
yang.
narrative.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so you got a chance to kind of incorporate your own writing from back when you were doing Run, what is it?
run ELI.
ELI. So you got a chance to bring that back in, and
True,
right?
true.
And so you were able now to tell your own stories. Now, didn't you get a chance to do something at a comedy club here?
Yeah. So, for those of you guys who are not familiar, here in Portland, they have the Portland's Funniest competition at Helium Comedy Club. It's been going on for, I think, probably 30, 40 years. I don't know the whole lineage behind it. But I have been able to place in the finals over the last couple years, just going in and doing my thing. It's hard to make people laugh. It's hard to bring your narrative on stage and have people respond to it, especially if you don't already have a built-in audience and you're really just coming up out the mud, so to speak. And it's been a good thing. I want to win it all because that's just who I am. So you look for me in the next couple years. I'm gonna try to bring that trophy home.
When does this happen?
Happens every fall. It's actually a 3-month process. We start in March, April. Usually it'll go out through so many people. It's usually 200 or 300, people
wow.
that always get into it. And they don't crown a winner until September, October that same year. So week to week, we'll go and do our sets at Helium. People will vote, and you just advance that way. So
Now, are you a part of the, what is it, comedy festival that happens every February? Is that something you're a part of as well?
I have been. So we have the Black Comedy Festival that's put on and hosted by Dirty Angel Entertainment. I have participated in that festival for the last 3 years. I'm in limbo this year because I have some other things going on. But I do want to participate. I just don't know if it's going to fit in my schedule.
Because somebody got you booked.
Somebody got me booked. But that's a good thing because as an artist, all you ever really want is an opportunity and a platform to showcase your talent and be able to put smiles on people's face or invoke some type of emotion. So whether I'm on stage acting or whether I'm on stage making people laugh, I enjoy it all.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So outside of that, what else do you have going on?
Oh man, so I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, so to speak. That's something my dad used to always say down south. But I work on the PTA, work with my daughter in her school. So we're also planning Black History activities for this month. And so we're gonna have some assemblies at the school. We're gonna do some fun stuff for the kids. Give them some. I'm trying to think of the word I want to use. Basically, each day I'm gonna do a little snippet of music and different innovators or different prominent people in our culture to kind of give them a history lesson, give them some information that they may not receive from their teachers on the everyday. They'll broadcast it over the school and everybody get to chime in or get the information. And so that way kids can learn different things about our heritage and our culture that they may not get.
That's what's up.
So,
Yeah. So in addition to being an artist, we were talking about, this month is the theme for Black History Month is African American art, African Americans in the arts, and how it is our responsibility to raise the consciousness of people when we do our art. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's something that you should do or you have to do as an artist? Or do you feel like there's other areas? Because I know that you just do that in life in general, right? Like you've been involved in the community, out in the community in different organizations, like you said, PTA. And so you get it in that way?
Yeah. So for me, my whole mantra for 2024 is to live your truth. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I've been pushing since I've been on stage this year, is to live in your truth. And, so I know that means different things for different people. I do live in that because I believe history is something that, we have to embrace. We have to get the word out. I don't know how to be any other way other than being my true, authentic self. And so
Right.
in those spaces, I always champion, all culture. I always try to be in a place where I can give something back in some kind of way, whether it be to the youth, whether it be to my coworkers, or whether it just be to the random person that I run into. I always try to hold that in. Another podcast that I do is called the Four Black Dads podcast, and it's
Right.
sort of a play on words where initially it was for comics who were fathers, black men who were fathers, and then it's for black dads. So the information we talk about is from a black perspective, from a father perspective, dealing with any and everything in pop culture to what's going on at the house, kids driving you crazy, and how to go about solving issues and problems. From various age groups. Some of us got kids that are still in elementary. I have two kids that are out of school, and millennials doing their own thing.
Right.
And you have to parent from different lenses
Definitely.
in that aspect. So we try to touch on all those things, but to answer your question, I think it's important that we do highlight the arts. I think it's important that we do champion black art, especially in this space. We've had dealing with the writer's strike. We're dealing with equality and equity in film and theater. I found that a lot of people want to do checkity work. They want to check the boxes,
Check the box off. Okay,
that they doing something,
Right.
and the fruits of it you don't really see. And so we're still fighting that battle as of today in 2024. And I run into those in a lot of circles that I run into. There are people with good hearts and good intentions, but we still have to be more deliberate and intentional about making sure that we're being seen and we're being heard, and that the things that we value are important.
Right, which is why I think we had things like the Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts Movement, right? It's like you're not waiting for an opportunity to get on a certain stage,
Right.
or, they were creating their own art and, speaking, their truth, as you would say. But just really changing the narrative, right? From what was happening before we had the Harlem Renaissance. When people were speaking for us, but
Right.
then you had the Harlem Renaissance and you had all these literary, professionals and musicians and sculptors, painters,
Right.
who were really changing the landscape of the arts world and bringing in this narrative that said, no, we're not sharecroppers, we're not slaves anymore, but we are intelligent, we are the talented 10th.
Right.
So
Taking up space,
Right.
and letting people know that we're not monolithical. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
We have different talents, and I can maybe cut your grass, but at the same time, I can, put a piece together like this,
Exactly.
and I can put music together that make you, take on a whole nother persona and be in a whole different world. Just listen to the music and things that we had going on. So
Right. And to be able to tell our own experiences and not have them whitewashed or,
Correct.
just maneuvered
Watered
in,
down.
in a different way, to where it's not authentic. But that it's for, as Toni Morrison would say, the white gaze.
Right.
But I mean, we don't need to get into all of that because that's for another time, another place. We talking about Eric and Eric's artistry. So, okay, you shared like a little bit of your journey, and in a perfect world, what would being an artist for you look like?
In a perfect world for me, I would be able to get up and write my own pieces. I'll be able to be on film and TV shows, doing this for a living day to day. Being able to tell our stories, making people laugh, making them feel some type of emotion. I just think every day you should feel something, whether you laugh or whether you cry. It gives validity to life. You know what I'm saying? It lets you know you're present and connected with what's
Yeah.
going on in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a perfect fit for me, just to be able to
To make a living.
make a living doing this. Yeah,
Doing what you love to
yeah,
do.
doing what I love to do.
Yeah, I know for artists, it's like you love it. I mean, and people sometimes think you're crazy. Or like, why did you leave your good paying job to go out and not, have all of this uncertainty
Right,
or, as we've heard, or even that we heard about Taraji,
right, right,
of just not being paid her worth, and she's a professional and she has been able
correct.
to do movies and but it's just this aching as an artist, and it's hard unless you're an artist to understand
Hmm.
what motivates you and what keeps you going even when the money is not there
When you
or the
love,
opportunity is not there, right? Like you
yeah,
find yourself creating your own
right,
opportunities, or
right.
like you said, getting on Zoom and just doing something because you feel
Sitting.
like you have to create art some type of way.
As a creative, I mean, when you love something, it's just you can't get away from it. And if anybody's ever loved anything in their life, you understand that it's a piece of you, and if you don't have it, it's just a part of you feels empty. And I don't care how many 9 to 5s you go to or how many hours you work. There's got to be something that you're gonna be yearning for. So I tell everybody, find something you're passionate about, push for it, and let the chips fall where they may. You can look up one day and yeah, you might have $1 million, but you're gonna be empty inside because you didn't find something that you're passionate and that you love. So,
Okay, last thing. How can the community support you in what you're doing?
you can support me by coming to World Stage Theater Productions all the time. We'll be celebrating what year is this now? Who
This
I
is
am?
18. Year
18 years.
18.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I've been here 10 years of it.
Yep.
So who I am celebrating me this year. I'll be doing some stand up comedy over in Vancouver February 3rd. Next week, it's gonna be all blackity black affair. You know what I'm saying? Black comics, black venue, and just a whole lot of fun. Also, Black Comedy Festival will come up on February 16th. That'll be happening at Curious Comedy Club. Um, Even if I'm not on stage, I'll be there supporting all the other artists and
Right.
stuff that are be coming up, and because that's how we need to do in our community is keep showing up and keep supporting each other.
Right. Right. That's very good. And I think we can end on that. And we'll put the links of where you can support Eric, all the things that he's going to be doing. We'll put that in our little description area. But I think we should end on making sure that you support artists because we don't make enough.
Dope.
We don't make enough. We wish we did, but everybody can't be a millionaire. If we could, then it wouldn't be the 1%. It would be I don't know. But thank you so much for tuning in and joining us for Shine a Light Sunday. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know if you have any questions. Put some your comments in the comment section. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Peace.